Ladies and gentlemen, let me ask you something. How often do we confuse being alone with being lonely? Society has painted this picture that happiness only exists in company, that without others we're incomplete. But let me tell you the truth, your happiness, your fulfillment does not depend on anyone else. It starts and ends with you. The first step is to embrace solitude as a strength. Think of solitude not as an empty space, but as fertile ground where you can plant the seeds of growth. It's in the silence, away from the noise, that you rediscover who you really are. This is where you learn to rely on yourself, to trust yourself, and to love yourself. Next, we need to develop a thriving relationship with ourselves. Most people spend their entire lives running away from their own company. They distract themselves with busyness or relationships because facing themselves feels uncomfortable. But here's the secret: the most important relationship you'll ever have is the one with you. Learn to enjoy your own company. Dive into the things that light you up, whether it's art, fitness, reading, or simply walking in nature. When you honor yourself, you teach the world how to treat you. And here's the big one: cultivate gratitude and presence. Happiness isn't found in some distant future or in what others bring to you. It's in this moment, right here, right now. When you practice gratitude, you realize that everything you need is already within you. Gratitude shifts your perspective from lack to abundance. Finally, let's talk about purpose. When you're alone, don't just distract yourself, align yourself with something bigger. Pursue goals that excite you and contribute to a cause that matters. When you live with purpose, loneliness turns into empowerment. You realize you're not just existing, you're thriving. So here's the takeaway: being alone isn't something to escape, it's something to embrace. It's where you find your power, it's where you find your clarity, and most importantly, it's where you find you. The world doesn't make you happy. People don't make you happy. You make you happy. Now go and make the choice. Choose to be happy right here, right now, and watch how your world transforms. Let's take a moment to address one of the most misunderstood concepts in life: the idea that being alone equates to being unhappy. Somewhere along the way, we've been conditioned to believe that our joy, our worth, and our sense of fulfillment depend on the presence or validation of others. But this couldn't be further from the truth. One of the most liberating realizations you'll ever have is this: your happiness, your fulfillment, your sense of purpose, they all begin within you. They are yours to create, nurture, and amplify. And it starts with learning to embrace solitude not as a burden, but as a profound strength. You see, solitude isn't something to run away from. It's not the enemy. In fact, it's one of the greatest opportunities you'll ever have to connect with the most important person in your life, yourself. The world we live in today is constantly demanding our attention. We're inundated with notifications, surrounded by distractions, and bombarded with voices telling us what to think, how to act, and who to be. It's easy to lose yourself in all of that noise. But when you allow yourself to be alone, truly alone, something incredible happens. You step away from the external chaos and into a space of stillness. And in that stillness, you can finally hear your own voice. That's where clarity is born. That's where you reconnect with your values, your dreams, and your purpose. You begin to realize that solitude isn't emptiness, it's spaciousness. It's an open field where you can plant the seeds of growth, discovery, and transformation. Now, this isn't about isolating yourself or rejecting relationships. No, relationships are beautiful and essential parts of life, but it's about shifting your perspective and understanding that you don't need someone else to complete you. You're already complete. When you embrace solitude, you stop looking outward for validation and start looking inward for strength. You stop seeking permission to be happy and start giving it to yourself. Think about it, some of the most remarkable breakthroughs in human history didn't happen in the middle of a crowded room. They happened in moments of solitude. Whether it was an artist lost in their craft, an inventor refining their ideas, or a philosopher pondering the mysteries of existence, those moments of being alone were the crucible for greatness. Why? Because solitude allows you to tap into a deeper well of creativity, insight, and power. But here's the thing: embracing solitude requires courage. It means confronting yourself, flaws and all. It means facing the thoughts and emotions you might have been avoiding. That's not always easy. But let me tell you, it's worth it. Because when you do, you discover something extraordinary. You're stronger than you think. You're capable of more than you've ever imagined. And you don't need anyone else to validate that truth for you. So how do you start? By carving out time for yourself. Turn off your phone. Step away from the noise. Take a walk. Sit in silence. Or write in a journal. Let yourself be present in the moment without distractions. At first, it might feel uncomfortable. Your mind might race and you might feel the urge to reach for something, anything to fill the silence. But stay with it. Because that discomfort is the doorway to growth. Over time, you'll begin to notice a shift. You'll start to feel more grounded, more in tune with yourself. You'll find that your happiness isn't tied to what's happening around you, but to what's happening within you. That's the power of embracing solitude. It's not about being isolated, it's about being centered. It's about knowing that no matter where you are, no matter who you're with, you're at home within yourself. And here's the best part: when you learn to be happy alone, you bring a whole new energy to your relationships. You're no longer seeking someone to fill a void or fix a problem. Instead, you're sharing your wholeness, your joy, and your strength. That's what creates truly meaningful connections. So I challenge you to rethink what it means to be alone. Don't see it as a lack, but as a gift. Use it as an opportunity to grow, to heal, and to discover the incredible person you are. Because when you do, you'll realize that being alone isn't just okay, it's empowering. It's liberating. And it's the foundation for a life of true happiness. What if I told you that the foundation of true happiness lies not in what you have, not in who surrounds you, but in the relationship you have with yourself? We live in a world that constantly pushes us to seek external validation. We're told to find happiness in careers, relationships, possessions, or social recognition. And while those things can bring joy, they are fleeting if your inner world is in disarray. To be truly happy, especially when you're alone, you must build a thriving relationship with yourself and learn to cultivate gratitude and presence in every moment. The relationship you have with yourself is the cornerstone of your happiness. Yet most people spend their entire lives neglecting it. They pour energy into pleasing others, meeting societal expectations, and chasing goals that aren't even their own. They wear masks thinking they must be someone else to be loved or accepted. But here's the truth: if you don't love yourself, no amount of external approval will ever fill that void. So how do you build a thriving relationship with yourself? First, by embracing self-love, not the shallow, #friendly version, but the deep, transformative kind. It means accepting yourself fully, flaws and all. It's about recognizing your worth without attaching it to achievements or other people's opinions. Self-love is not selfish, it's essential. Because when you truly value yourself, you stop seeking validation from others. You stop trying to fit into molds that were never made for you. Instead, you live authentically, unapologetically, and in alignment with your own truth. This relationship also requires nurturing. Think about how much time and energy you invest in the people you care about. Do you do the same for yourself? Spend time alone, not scrolling through your phone or distracting yourself, but really being present with your thoughts and feelings. Explore your passions. Try new things that excite you. Celebrate your victories, no matter how small they might seem. Treat yourself with the same kindness and encouragement you'd offer to a dear friend. And then there's the practice of gratitude and presence, which amplifies everything. In a world where it's so easy to focus on what's missing, gratitude shifts your perspective to what's already there. Think about it. How often do you pause to appreciate the things you have, the people who care about you, or even the simple pleasures of life? Most of us are so busy chasing the next goal or longing for what we don't have that we overlook the abundance already around us. Gratitude is powerful because it rewires your mind. When you intentionally focus on what you're thankful for, you create a mindset of abundance. You stop fixating on lack and start recognizing the richness of your life. Even in solitude, there's so much to be grateful for: the peaceful moments of reflection, the freedom to make your own choices, and the opportunity to grow without external distractions. But gratitude alone isn't enough. To truly find happiness, you must pair it with presence. And presence means grounding yourself in the here and now. It's about letting go of the regrets of the past and the anxieties of the future and fully immersing yourself in the current moment. When was the last time you sat in silence, feeling the warmth of the sun on your face, or truly savored a meal without rushing? These moments, as simple as they seem, are where life happens. When you practice presence, you discover that happiness isn't something you need to chase. It's already here. It's in the small, quiet moments you often overlook. Presence teaches you that joy doesn't come from grand achievements or external validation, but from appreciating the journey itself. So when you combine a thriving relationship with yourself with gratitude and presence, something extraordinary happens. You become unshakable. You realize that your happiness doesn't depend on others, circumstances, or things. It's rooted within you. And when you reach that point, being alone no longer feels like a void. It feels like a gift, a chance to connect with yourself on a deeper level and live a life of authenticity and fulfillment. Remember this, the world doesn't need a version of you that's shaped by others' expectations. It needs the real you, the one who is grounded, grateful, and unapologetically at peace with being alone. That's where true happiness begins. Let's step back and challenge an assumption we often make about happiness, that it depends on others, circumstances, or external achievements. Society has trained us to believe that fulfillment is something we must chase, that it's tied to relationships, possessions, or status. But the truth is, happiness is not found in those things. It is cultivated from within, nurtured through a deeper understanding of yourself, a practice of gratitude, and a commitment to living fully in the present. And most importantly, it's about discovering how to create meaning and joy even when you're on your own. The first step to true happiness is building a thriving relationship with yourself. Think about it. How much time do you spend trying to understand the people around you? You listen to their stories, learn their likes and dislikes, and support their dreams. But how often do you do that for yourself? Most people neglect this, keeping themselves so busy that they avoid ever truly facing who they are. It's easier to distract ourselves than to sit alone and ask, what do I need? What do I want? But let me tell you, that kind of self-awareness is transformative. When you take the time to get to know yourself, you begin to see your own value. You stop defining your worth by the opinions of others or by how well you fit into their expectations. You learn to appreciate your unique strengths and accept your imperfections as part of what makes you whole. You begin to understand that self-love is not a luxury, it's a necessity. Because until you love yourself, it's impossible to truly feel the love or validation from anyone else. But this isn't just about self-love, it's also about gratitude. Happiness doesn't come from wishing for things to be different, it comes from appreciating what already is. And gratitude is a practice, a daily choice to focus on the abundance in your life rather than the lack. It's easy to get caught up in everything you think you're missing: a better job, a bigger home, a relationship. But take a moment to pause and ask yourself, what do I already have? Perhaps it's as simple as the air you're breathing, the sunlight streaming through your window, or the opportunity to start fresh every single day. Gratitude transforms your mindset. It shifts your focus from scarcity to abundance. It reminds you that even when life feels imperfect, there is beauty and goodness to be found. And this brings us to the most important element of all: presence. Living in the present moment is one of the most powerful tools for cultivating happiness, yet it's something we rarely do. Our minds are constantly racing, rehashing the past, worrying about the future, or getting lost in endless distractions. But the present is all we truly have. It's where life happens, where joy resides, and where you have the power to create change. When you commit to being present, you stop waiting for happiness to arrive in some distant future. You realize it's available to you now, in the small, seemingly mundane moments. It's in the quiet peace of a morning coffee, the laughter of a stranger passing by, or the sense of accomplishment from completing a task, no matter how small. Presence allows you to fully experience life, not just rush through it on autopilot. And when you combine presence with gratitude and a strong relationship with yourself, you unlock a new level of resilience. You become less dependent on external circumstances for your happiness because you've cultivated an internal well of strength, peace, and joy. Even in solitude, you feel complete because you know that your happiness is not tied to anyone or anything else. It's a choice you make every single day. This doesn't mean life will always be easy. There will be moments of loneliness, challenges, and uncertainty. But when you have a thriving relationship with yourself, a practice of gratitude, and the ability to live in the present, those moments become opportunities for growth rather than sources of despair. You learn that being alone is not a weakness, it's a chance to reconnect with yourself, recharge, and rediscover what truly matters. So the next time you find yourself alone, don't rush to fill the silence. Embrace it. Use it as a time to reflect, to grow, and to simply be. Choose to see solitude not as an absence, but as a presence, a chance to be with the person who will always be there for you yourself. Happiness doesn't come from outside, it comes from within. And when you nurture that inner world, you carry your joy with you wherever you go, no matter who is or isn't by your side. Let me begin by asking you something that might seem simple but carries incredible depth. Where does your happiness truly come from? Is it tied to the people around you, the circumstances you're in, or the things you've achieved? Or is it something more profound, something within your control, independent of the world outside? The answer to that question can change your life. Because the truth is, happiness isn't about external factors. It's about learning to embrace solitude, cultivating gratitude, staying present, and most importantly, aligning your life with purpose. When you're alone, it's easy to feel like something is missing, like you're incomplete without someone to share your time or your thoughts with. But solitude isn't an absence, it's an opportunity. It's a chance to deepen your connection with yourself, to understand your own mind and heart without the noise of the world. In solitude, you can hear the whispers of your true desires, the dreams you've neglected, and the passions that light you up. It's not a time to feel lost, it's a time to rediscover yourself. In solitude, you also have the chance to cultivate gratitude. Gratitude is one of the simplest yet most transformative practices in life. It shifts your focus from what's lacking to what's already abundant. Too often, we look at life and see only what's missing: a relationship we wish we had, an achievement we're yet to attain, or a future we're longing for. But when you intentionally choose gratitude, you train your mind to see the beauty and abundance that already exists. Imagine waking up each day and simply appreciating the fact that you're here, alive, with the opportunity to create, to connect, and to grow. Gratitude turns the ordinary into extraordinary. It allows you to see the simple moments: a quiet morning, a kind word, or even your own breath as gifts. When you are grateful, loneliness transforms into a recognition of the fullness of life. You no longer focus on what's missing, you embrace what's present. And this brings us to presence. In our fast-paced world, we're constantly pulled in different directions, replaying the past, worrying about the future, or distracting ourselves with endless noise. But true happiness isn't found in the past or the future. It's found in the now, the only moment you truly have. Think about this. How often do you let your mind wander away from the present moment? How often are you physically here but mentally somewhere else? When you learn to ground yourself in the present, life becomes richer. You start noticing the small details, the way the sunlight dances on a surface, the sound of the wind, or the taste of your favorite meal. These aren't trivial things, they're the fabric of life itself. Presence allows you to fully experience your emotions without judgment. When you're happy, you savor it. When you're happy, you savor it. When you're sad, you honor it. You stop resisting what is and start living fully in what's happening now. And in doing so, you realize that happiness isn't something you chase, it's something you create moment by moment. Finally, the key to sustaining this happiness, especially when you're alone, is living with purpose. Purpose gives your life direction and meaning. It's what gets you out of bed in the morning, even on the toughest days. And here's the thing about purpose: it doesn't have to be something grand or world-changing. It can be as simple as pursuing what you love, contributing to something greater than yourself, or setting goals that inspire you. When you align your life with purpose, you stop relying on distractions to fill your time. You don't just keep busy, you stay engaged. Whether it's learning a new skill, volunteering, creating art, or working on a project that excites you, purpose gives you a reason to thrive. It reminds you that even when you're alone, you're part of something bigger. So what happens when you embrace solitude, practice gratitude, live in the present, and pursue purpose? You become unshakable. You realize that your happiness isn't fragile or dependent on circumstances. It's a choice you make every single day. When you're happy alone, you carry that strength into every area of your life. Your relationships become richer because you're not seeking someone to complete you, you're sharing your completeness. Your challenges become opportunities because you're grounded in purpose and resilience. And your life, no matter where you are or who is around, becomes a testament to the power of inner fulfillment. Happiness isn't something that happens to you, it's something you create. And the beauty of that truth is this: no matter where you find yourself, you have everything you need to be happy right here, right now. In the end, happiness isn't about what you have, who you're with, or the circumstances you find yourself in. It's about the choices you make every day to embrace solitude as an opportunity, not a limitation. It's about building a relationship with yourself that is rooted in self-love and self-worth, practicing gratitude to see the abundance around you, and grounding yourself in the present moment where life truly unfolds. But above all, it's about aligning your life with a purpose that gives you meaning, ignites your passion, and reminds you that your happiness is yours to create. When you recognize that happiness is an inside job, you become unstoppable. You no longer depend on the world around you to feel fulfilled, and you carry your joy with you wherever you go. Being alone doesn't mean being incomplete or disconnected. It means having the courage to stand strong in your own space, to find peace in your own company, and to thrive on your own terms. Because when you master the art of being happy alone, you discover a profound truth: you are never truly alone when you are deeply connected to yourself. Thank you.